On this episode of the Best of Bias podcast, you got your boy Lydell Dinero on a Friday. You're recording this on a happy 420 though. Happy 420 to everybody out there. Let me just say that we record this on Thursday, so I would be remiss if I didn't, shout out to my fellow 420ers out there. Holla, 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 holla at me. But yeah, it's Friday though when you guys are hearing this, so technically it's Friday. But hopefully you had a happy 420. On this episode we'll be talking about a lot, but I feel like it's gonna be pretty quick. I'm not gonna hold you too long. It ain't gonna be like the hour that I'm usually here. The Warriors is playing the Kings right now, and it's gonna be part of the updates I need to give you for the NBA playoffs that I'm gonna talk about. So I'm not gonna be on too long, but I got some stuff for you. Do not fret. We got the NBA playoffs round one so far. Catch you guys up to date on that. We got some pop culture. Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia fight this weekend. What to expect from that? Those press conferences have been getting pretty heated, so what I'm saying, that's coming up. So I know you guys are excited about that. Johnathn Majors update. There has been some more stuff that's come forward. Some people are saying that they got abused by Johnathn Majors too, but then he's calling cap on all that. Of course he is. But a little Majors update on this podcast today. And then we have AI in the music industry, man. This AI stuff is infiltrating the music industry and putting out fire songs that these artists aren't creating. They can sound just like the artist, and it's just kind of wild to see that. Even record companies now are kind of trying to step in and say, hey, stop this shit because you guys are making songs that are gonna be better than the artist can make, and then this is like a random ass person. Yeah, so we'll get into that, and then we'll get into Frank Ocean at Coachella. He's been making a bunch of noise right now, and not a good way. Twitter blue checks today, well, as of Thursday 420, have been taken away on Twitter. Celebrities are kind of pushing back on that because they don't want to pay the subscription Elon Musk is trying to put in place. Then we have Cinema Corner, of course, SnowFall finale, Mandalorian finale. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the Mario movie. I haven't seen it, but shoot, it's in theater. So we'll talk about its success for a little bit and how much money it's made because it's made a lot. So it's a full slate on this episode of the Best of Bias podcast. Excuse me, I'm mumbling already. I'm just, just fair warning. It's 420 and I haven't really smoked in a long time. So I did partake a little bit in the holiday. It's legal now, so I can say that to y'all. YouTube, don't try to give me a little slap on the wrist for saying that. You know what I'm saying? I've had people on the pod actually smoking during, but you know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to snitch on myself, but hey, YouTube, y'all been cool so far. We'll try to keep it to a minimum now. But it's the Best of Bias podcast. Hope you guys are ready. Welcome, new listeners. The family, welcome back. And let's get right into it. It's the Best of Bias podcast. Where my theme song at? Yeah. It's the best of bias. You need the earful, you should try us. From pop culture to the movies to unite us. It's the best of bias. The best of bias. Yeah. It's the best of bias.
You are now listening to the Best of Bias podcast with Lydell Dinero and Hugo Twilight.
All right. Guess who it is? It's your boy Lydell Dinero on this Friday, beautiful Friday, coming off a beautiful 420. I hope you guys had a good holiday, like I said in the beginning, because I really meant that shit. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Talked about it in the beginning, so you already know what's on the docket. Happy to see y'all. Thank y'all for clicking on the podcast because y'all could have been anywhere else in the world right now, listening to any other podcast in the world right now, but you came back to the stew to listen to yours truly. No guests today. Just a little pod, me, episode 160. You know what I'm saying? We getting up there, man. Whether it's just me or the guests, we putting out content for the listeners, and I'm thanking you guys. If this is your first podcast, welcome. But if this is your like 160th podcast, man, I love y'all. And welcome back because we're gonna keep it going. More content all the time. More guests. Everything. It's not stopping. But anyways, it's just me today, and I'm talking about some sports. We'll start with the NBA playoffs, excuse me. The games have been going. Last time we talked, we was in the play-in phases, so we didn't know what 8 seeds were going to play what 1 seeds yet. We didn't even know who the 8 seed was. So I want to update y'all on who's playing. I know you guys already know, but I just want to give my insight on the series so far. And then who I expect to win the series. You already know who I picked, but just want to talk about how it's going and what I've seen in some of these games. So starting with the Bucks and Heat series, the series is tied 1-1 right now. We haven't seen a game with Giannis playing in it yet. So it's interesting series to see that it's 1-1 when Giannis hasn't played. The Heat haven't really taken advantage of Giannis being out. They did the first game, and kind of Jimmy Buckets and the team actually put it on the Bucks just a little bit, made it tough for them. But the second game at home, they hunkered down and beat them by well, I saw in the game they were beating them by 30, and pretty much just put a waxing on them to tie the series 1-1. I'm sure Giannis will be back game three when they touch down in Miami. The Heat right now, I don't know, man. Last year, I think they were they in the finals or the Eastern Conference Finals at least? They had their team going. Duncan Robinson was popping, Tyler Hero. He's hurt right now. Of course, he broke his hand, but Jimmy Buckets, Bam Adebayo, and the bench, Victor Oladipo, a lot of the players on the team were balling. It just seems like now it's kind of like they're relying on a lot of other players that aren't really well known. Max Strus, Gabe Vincent, who else they have? Caleb Martin, like a bunch of other guys who have to make buckets and actually relieve Jimmy Buckets when he's out of the game. Or if Bam Adebayo ain't got it at the time, we have to have that, third, fourth player to come out there and put some points on the board. And with Tyler Hero out and the disappearance of Duncan Robinson this year, it just seems like they really can't put that many points on the board. I really haven't watched a lot of their games this season, so I can't sit here and definitively talk about how I feel about them like that, or if their offense is broken or whatever. But it seems like, man, defensively they lock up when it's time to lock up, but it just seems like offense sometimes they just play really slow, and it's hard for them to find offense if it's not coming from Jimmy Butler. You know what I mean? And then the Bucks team, number one seeded Bucks on the other side have a whole bunch of players to supplement Giannis Antetokounmpo when he's actually hurt and not playing. They of course got Chris Middleton. They have Bobby Portis putting points on the board. Of course, they have Brook Lopez, Connaughton, Wesley Matthews. They have Jake Crowder. Who's the little guy? Grayson Allen. So they have a bunch of people on the team that actually can contribute and put up points. But when it comes to Miami Heat, like I said, I named a bunch of players you probably didn't even, were nowhere in the NBA or didn't really know very well unless you watched the NBA, the Miami Heat really closely. So I don't know. I just feel like eventually the Bucks are going to take hold of this series. If Giannis comes back, I think they could possibly sweep both home games in Miami. So we'll see, but I still think the Bucks are going to win that series pretty easily. I'm obviously starting with the Eastern Conference, but the Cavs are playing the Knicks. That series tied 1-1. Both games have been very lopsided. The first game, the Knicks whooped the Cavs at home. They had a great game all around, and Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland didn't really play that well. I think Mitchell may have played well, but they didn't get that win. They got pretty much stomped out, and they tried to make a run at the end, didn't really make a run. But the next game, when they played at home, Darius Garland was on one, scoring, assisting. It wasn't really Donovan Mitchell's best game, but everybody else around him was playing. Darius Garland definitely hit a whole bunch of threes. So they blew out the Knicks too. So I can't really gauge how I feel about this series really because, one team whooped one team one day and the other one whooped the other team the other day. So it's kind of up in the air to me. I can't really tell who's a better team, but experience-wise, well, they're both really, really young. But Donovan Mitchell, I think, is the best player on both teams, I would say, He's better than Randall. Everybody else on the team is kind of Jalen Brunson. Let me take that back. But I think Donovan Mitchell is better than Jalen Brunson, but I don't know if the combination of Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson is more deadly than the combination of the backcourt of Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. So I don't know. They're both, both games, like I said, were very lopsided. And one group of the players got off in one game, and then the other group of players got off in another game. So that series is going to be interesting, but I do got the Cavs winning. The Warriors is turning it up right now, 14-23. Yeah, they ain't trying to go down 3-0. I'll get into that in a little bit. Philly just played Brooklyn to go up 3-0. They did win. This series is going to be lopsided regardless because I don't know, man. This is where my bias is going to come in, but I feel like the league is, is caping for Joel Embiid right now because these first two games, of course, when Philly was at home, they dominated pretty much. The Brooklyn Nets almost came back in the second game, but this game here really showed that it's going to be tough to beat the Philadelphia 76ers when it comes to the referees. Brooklyn was down big, was able to come back and actually take a lead, but then a bunch of crazy stuff happened. Joel Embiid was flailing on the floor, kicked Nick Claxton, didn't get a technical, didn't really get anything. James Harden was ejected for hand checking Royce O'Neal in the ding ding. And then they kicked out Nick Claxton after he was locking up Joel Embiid and having a great game. for taunting after dunking on Joel Embiid and just looking at him. When Joel Embiid does stuff like that all the time and they don't ever penalize him for it, they could have, the Joel Embiid thing was almost as bad as the Draymond thing. We'll talk about that in a minute, in a second, too. In a minute, too. But yeah, he kicked up at Claxton. Of course, I mean, he was stepping over him kind of disrespectfully, but he kicked up at him almost in his man region, but kicked him like under the thigh and made him fall down. So I thought that could have warranted a flagrant one at least, maybe even a flagrant two. But of course, they're not going to kick out Joel Embiid for anything. He had 5 fouls and was playing hella aggressive defense, fouling people, and they wouldn't even call a foul on him. He bumped Claxton out of bounds on some weird shit. Didn't call anything on that. It's just a lot, man. They cape for him. He falls on the ground, flops. I mean, he only had like 9 points going into the fourth quarter. And then once Harden got ejected and Nick Claxton got ejected, he started getting to the free throw line and actually making points, man. Well, they went up 3-0, and they're probably going to win that series, but I hope that the Celtics whoop them. You already know how I feel about Joel Embiid. I think he's really talented. But I don't like his personality. I don't like how he goes and talks shit about everybody. And then when they ask him about it, he's like, "Oh no, I don't care. Nothing matters. Nothing matters. I'm too cool for school." But it's just kind of wild to me. He just puts on this front, and he's good. Like I said, don't get me wrong, but the whole animosity the Philly fans have towards Jokic, just because people feel like Joel Embiid has been slighted for not winning MVP the last couple of years because all the Philly fans think he's the best player in the world. It's just, I don't know, man. The antics, the crybaby-ish tendencies, how he's protected in the league by the refs, how they give him 20,000 free throws a game and don't give Jokic any. It just kind of makes, I hate how it pins them against each other and their fans against each other, just how the media is going to portray it, and how their fans always try to get under our skin and just talk mess about Jokic just because he's been getting more accolades than Joel Embiid. It's just kind of crazy to me. So hopefully soon they could just make amends after he gets this MVP, so he can stop crying and everybody can stop talking shit to the Nuggets fans and hating them just because Jokic wins MVPs that he don't even care about. You know what I'm saying? If you mad at him, why don't you just be mad at the league? You know what I'm saying? Like, take the animosity somewhere else. We got a championship we're trying to win. But anyways, yeah, Philly leads that series 3-0. The next game 4 is in Brooklyn again, which they're probably going to get swept if they don't do something kind of crazy. Boston is up 2-0 against Atlanta. I don't know if they played. Yeah, they probably play tomorrow. Boston is pretty much taking hold of this series. There's nothing really much to talk about. Celtics are a really good team. Tatum, Brown, Rob Williams being back, Al Horford, Malcolm Brogdon, who I think may have won the Sixth Man of the Year. I'm not too sure. They're deep. They're deep over there. So I think they're just kind of taking their time with Atlanta. Atlanta may get one game if they're lucky. But I think it's a crash course for the Celtics and Philly to be playing in the second round. And then we'll really see who the refs like more. Because I just kind of feel they want this fairy tale championship of the Celtics and the Warriors, or the Celtics and the Lakers, or the Bucks. Actually, I don't know. I don't even know if they want the Bucks to win at this point. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of overwhelming, man. The media, I'm just so pissed right now because the Nuggets have whooped Minnesota 2 games in a row, and not one piece of media coverage has. I'll get there in a second. I don't want to go off right now. Actually, I'm here right now because Boston is probably going to go up 3-0 tomorrow, and that's not really much to talk about. But we're into the Western Conference now, and we had the number 1 Denver against the number 8 seed Minnesota. I'm gonna say we when I talk about Denver now, because you guys know how I feel about Denver. You guys know I'm a fan, so I'm gonna be talking we a lot. So when I say we, I'm talking about Denver. So we are up to see I did it right there. We are up. Well, I ain't speaking French. I'm talking about me and the Nuggets. You know what I'm saying? I ain't on the team, but I'm kind of on the team. But yeah, Denver is up 2-0 in the series. Game 1 was kind of embarrassing for the Minnesota Timberwolves. They came to Ball Arena out there in Denver at the high elevation and didn't really perform at all. I don't know if they were nervous. I don't know if they were tired after coming through the play-in tournament and not really having much juice left. They had a whole bunch of inter-team turmoil when it came to Rudy Gobert and Kyle Anderson. So there's a lot of stuff going on. So they didn't really seem too focused at the time. And they got blown out by 29. There's not really much to talk about. A lot of the starters didn't really play that much. Murray had 24 points, but it was mostly the second unit that actually was out there balling, extending the lead, and had us up for a while and didn't really give away the lead that game. But the game 2, kind of more of the same was happening at the beginning. We went up big, 21 in the first half. By halftime, we were up 15. Everybody's playing good, playing kind of fluid. But then when it got to the second half, the third quarter anyway, the Wolves made a run. Actually, it came all the way back from 15 down, and shoot 80% in the third quarter. Went on like a 34 to something run, and we're able to actually take the lead going into the fourth or something like that. It may have been tied. But then in the fourth quarter, the starters actually played like they did in the beginning of the game. Jamal Murray went off. He had 40 points with 6 threes. Jokic 27, 9, and 9. They balled out and like, put up or shut up towards the end of the game because, after game one, people kind of figured that they're going to get these points, get a big lead, and then the starter's going to take a seat and not have to try that hard. But this game with Minnesota coming back, the starters and the big time players have to actually show what they had and play harder than they probably expected to play. But yeah, Jokic went in there, balled out, and did what he's supposed to do. Last game he had 13, 14, and like 6 or something like that. With trying this game, he got 27, 9, and 9. And then Murray showing that he is back from his knee injury and ready to be Bubble Murray again, dropping 40 points and doing what he wants with the ball. And just kind of like getting where he wants, getting to his spots, making big shots like he did in the bubble. And he hasn't been in the playoffs since the bubble, and we've been making the playoffs since then. This is his first time back since the bubble. So for him to get to that level right now would be incredible for our chances at making a run for a championship. So I'm really excited to see what we got next. We're going to Minnesota tomorrow. So I'm hoping, or it's going to be today. So if you guys listen to this after the game, hopefully we won. If it's before the game, cheer us on because we're trying to go up 3-0 and just wait for the winner of the Suns and the Clippers game, which is going to be interesting as well because Kawhi Leonard's not playing game 3 when it's 1-1 right now. They're going back to Phoenix, or going to LA. So it's going to be an interesting game, but is that the next game we're talking about? Yeah. So I might as well go right into that. So the Suns 4 seed and the Clippers, the 5 seed, are 1-1 in their series. It's been a great back and forth. The first game, the Clippers were able to steal the game at home, even with Russell Westbrook shooting 3 for 19. His hustle plays and his effort got them through the game and was able to lock down, no, not really lock down, but slow down KD and Devin Booker. They made it a point of emphasis to, get KD more shots and more looks in the next game because the way they were playing this game, they made it really hard for Booker Westbrook anyways, making it really hard for Devin Booker and Kevin Durant to get open shots. He was going over screens, sprinting to the players, jumping at their shots, even if he was, they were in their shot motion before he got there. He did enough and he's fast enough to either mess with their shot, mess with their rhythm, or even block the shots. He won the game 1 off of blocking a shot and throwing the ball into Devin Booker's leg. So his hustle plays helped a lot, though he wasn't really scoring. But the others on the team, Norman Powell, Terrence Mann, Zubac, and of course Kawhi Leonard, he's averaging 34 points in this series. Resurgence for real. Even though Paul George isn't there, they're able to give the Suns the business in the first game. Second game, they're doing more so of the same, but KD and Devin Booker were able to get a lot more shots, a lot more opportunities, and Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton were able to make big contributions as well. So they took them over the top, and they're able to not really take back the series, but make it a little less urgent to win the next game since they got one at home. So they have to steal one back in LA, which is an opportunity to do that with Kawhi out this game. And they'll be able to get back in the series, take hold of the series, leading 2-1. But we'll see what happens. It's going to be a really good series. I don't know if they play tonight. I think they do play tonight right after the Warriors game, or they might be starting the same time on NBA TV, but I'll check that score in a little bit. You know what I mean? But Westbrook is playing his butt off, so we'll see what's happening with him being the star player of the game today. A little bit more Terrence Mann, so we'll see what's going on, and we'll see if the Clippers can actually hold down home court. It'll be interesting to see. Sacramento and Golden State. Right now, the series is 2-0 Sacramento. Sacramento was able to hold it together and win both games at home. We saw what happened with Sabonis and Draymond Green. It's all over the media sphere. It's all anybody talks about. They talk about that more than they talking about the Nuggets. They talk about Draymond Green stepping on this man and being suspended more than they talk about the Kings' success. That's what's kind of crazy to me about these media heads, man. They'll talk to death about the Lakers. They'll talk to death about the Suns. They'll talk to death about the Warriors, even if they lose. It's like they don't congratulate the other team or the winning teams. They'll be like, oh, they lost. So is it over for this team? Is the dynasty over? And they'll spend fucking 5 hours talking about that shit. Come on, let's hear about something new. Let's hear about the winners, the people that are actually out there winning and making plays, Denver. You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen one highlight on SportsCenter, First Take, Undisputed, Colin Cowherd, the hurt. I haven't seen nothing or even heard anything mentioned. What do we have to do to actually just get you guys to recognize that we exist? I'm not begging or nothing, but when we win the championship, or if we win the championship, let me not get too ahead of myself because I'm not talking about necessarily this year, but if we win the championship any year after that, I don't want to hear y'all talking about us then because, man, I feel like you talk about every other come up team. I feel like I heard more about the Kings, and they're the number 3 seed rather than the Nuggets. And it's crazy to me how congratulations to Mike Brown for winning Coach of the Year, but yeah, the Kings haven't won and made it to the championship in 16 years or what? I mean, to the playoffs in 16 years. So for them to be the 3 seed is pretty impressive. But we've been the 1 seed since like January, and Mike Malone wasn't even considered Coach Michael Malone, excuse me, wasn't even considered to be Coach of the Year. You're talking about the Bucks and some other team. Like, come on now, really? It just seems like it's a concerted effort to kind of like keep the Denver Nuggets invisible, which is kind of nuts. I've never seen it before. I've really never seen it before. It's pretty nutty to me. How they can talk about teams that are even losing their series more than they're talking about teams that may sweep the team they're playing. Crazy, crazy talk, crazy talk, crazy talk. But this Draymond Green and Sabonis situation has carried over into Game 3 because, of course, he was suspended. Sabonis fell down. You guys seen it, of course, probably a million times. Sabonis grabbed Draymond's ankle. Why? I don't know. To protect his face? I don't know. To try to get him in a leg lock, the Kurt Angle leg lock? I don't know. But either way, Draymond reacted and didn't really like that. He's saying that where am I supposed to step? And I'm not flexible enough to step anywhere else. But that was a let go of me stomp. So we know you thought he was trying to hurt your ankle. Me playing football, high school, a little bit of community college, when they try to twist your ankle or alligator roll you, I get pretty mad about that too. And you want to get up and be like, you know what you was trying to do, trying to fight and stuff, because you can really injure somebody that way. If he felt that way, I get it. Tell the ref or yell at him. Don't stomp on his chest blatantly so everybody can see it. I get it. It could be an eye for an eye type thing, but for what they did was probably both egregious, but stomping on somebody's chest and his history, just there's even if it wasn't intentional, just a lot of the stuff that he was doing in the past and talking shit to the crowd like you don't care what's going on. That whole AB thing is just kind of crazy. And they're gonna look at you like, bruh, you need to chill out. We're not gonna reinforce this because if this keeps happening, they're gonna look at us a certain way. And they have. So happy I'm not really happy he got suspended, but I am happy that it's over with and Game 3 has started and the Warriors are probably going to win. So I don't ever have to hear about this again. Just play ball. If you lose, you lose. You win, you win. You know what I'm saying? Draymond Green, I feel it, is the heart and soul of the Warriors team. Yeah, he's a good defender, good, energizer, good assist man. But man, just play ball. I mean, if you want, you're defending champs. You should be winning these games anyways. This team is really young, don't really have the experience. Just go out there and ball and let your play dictate the game and not, oh, good Lord, Davion Mitchell. Don't let the game dictate, how you feel about, I don't know, everything. It's just like people are just really focused on the fact that Sabonis grabbed his ankle. I get it, but you're not supposed to stomp on somebody. Not supposed to stomp on somebody. I get it. Push them down, yell at them, tell the ref. But stomping on somebody's chest is gonna get you in trouble. And I don't know. I think a lot of Warriors fans don't really see past that. They don't really see past that. They looked at the ankle grab. If the ankle grab, let him grab your ankle and him get in trouble. Fall down like you're hurt. Like do the Embiid. You know what I'm saying? Don't be like, oh, you tried to hurt me, so I'm gonna hurt you back. Oh, that's how you get in trouble, bro. I know you're tough. We know you're tough. We get it. Just sometimes you don't have to escalate a situation because they can always point to you and think you're the aggressor because of your track record. Just remember that, man, and move on. Again, this Game 3 is on right now, so I don't really know what the series is going to be after that. I'll probably be something different by Friday, but mind you, I'm recording this on Thursday. Memphis and the Lakers. Yeah, that series is tied 1-1. Big story in this game. John Morant's hurt. Injured his wrist in the first game, going for, I don't know, probably a dunk. over Anthony Davis, and he slid in and took a charge. People are actually starting to get tired of those charge calls for the fact that they are kind of almost hurting people all the time. They're sliding under, getting under the offensive player when they actually take flight, and they have to come down hella weirdly. So I can expect maybe that rule might change soon, but right now that's how charges are called. Actually, it's the rule of the land, it's the lay of the land. That's a regular charge, but a lot of players are getting hurt because that Giannis got hurt. Somebody tried to step in front of Giannis about to dunk the ball, and he fell awkwardly on his back. Ja fell on his wrists. It's just a lot of stuff going on. It's kind of close to like bridging somebody when they're going up for a dunk, but you're straight up and you're flopping back, and the person is kind of like, I don't know. It's tough. It's a tough situation, but without Ja Morant, the Lakers were able to go ahead and win the first game there. LeBron and AD were just balling the first game and were able to steal game one, which gave the Lakers fans and a lot of the Lakers really get big confidence for next game, especially with the questionable status of Ja Morant. Also, no Brandon Clark, of course, and no Steven Adams, so no traditional bigs to guard AD. So, they kind of thought the game two was going to be a walk in the park, and they came out like that. They came out kind of flat. Um, weren't really playing like they were in game one. Austin Reeves and a lot of other players didn't really show up. Rui Hachimura had 31 in the first game with like 5 threes or something like that. Second game, he didn't have as many threes, but he still was balling, finding his shots and having shit fall. But, they weren't able to do enough. LeBron didn't have enough in the tank. AD only had like 13 points. So they have to do a lot more if they want to steal this series from Memphis because they have been the number 2 seed all year. And throughout the year, they've been playing really good without Ja Morant, so they don't need him necessarily to win. I've seen it personally because they were so close to the Nuggets taking the 1 seed and stuff like that, that I was hoping they lost all the time. And there's games where they're missing starters, missing Ja Morant, but they're so deep and a lot of players contribute to where they can step up and actually win the games for Memphis. So though it's 1-1 and though they're going back to LA, they still got to be careful because this team is dangerous. Dylan Brooks talking mess to LeBron, man. He's become the super wrestler heel in the NBA, just kind of talking shit to anybody and everybody, and he's becoming that. I mean, he's an Oregon boy, so I'm not gonna talk too bad on him, but he's not the best player in the world. And it's always good to kind of find that niche and find that gimmick there to keep you in the league. You know what I'm saying? You're an irritant, you're a defender, you don't really score that many points. You get in the player's head, the best player in the game's head, or on the opposite team's head. That way they can get off their game, and that's what he does. And he says what he needs to say to actually get that player off his game too. He was after the game they won, so he was feeling himself, saying that LeBron was old. He wasn't going, he's not going to respect him. And he's like, I'm not going to, give him any, get off his neck basically until he drops 40 on me. So you have to have a spectacular game to say that he's got me. You know what I'm saying? I feel like him being in the players' heads is him winning in his eyes. To respond to him, to get technical fouls against him, or do anything like that is what he wants and what the team wants from him. He's like a baby Draymond Green, and it's funny to me how people love Draymond Green but hate Dylan Brooks. It's like if you have him on your team, you love him, but if he's on the opposite team, you hate him. There's always those players that be doing shit like that. The Ginobili's, the Patrick Beverleys, the sometimes Russell Westbrooks. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of them, those guys that go out there and irritate and get in the players' heads and try to take them off their game, but they're elite defenders. Ron Artest, there's people that get in their heads and are able to, back up their talk with great defense and they're shutting down players when they need to do it. So series is 1-1. They're going back to LA, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully the Lakers can play better than they did last game because that wasn't really the greatest of games that they have played. And if they wanted to close out the Grizzlies, they're gonna have to have, premium games a lot. So moving into pop culture, we got a couple of topics today. Starting while we're in sports, we'll talk about Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia. That boxing match is this weekend, this Saturday in Vegas. It's going to be a great fight. There's been a lot of buildup in the press conferences. They've been talking a lot of mess. They've been doing their work on social media. Ryan Garcia being kind of like a social media boxer. Gervonta Davis has kind of jumped on that train as well. Been hanging out with Kai Cenat, hanging out with a bunch of people to try to get him some views on social media. Having Ryan Garcia supposedly bet the whole purse for the fight on whoever wins, so there's no split. It's just a lot. They've been doing a lot of promotion. I'm sure that they're not going to, hold to that bet because who's ever going to know, but they've been doing what they can to promote it. And I feel like it's going to be a big fight. It's going to have like the ambiance of a Jake Paul fight, but it's an actual real fight. You know what I'm saying? It's not one of those for play celebrity boxing type of situations. These are real boxers that people have been waiting for them to fight real boxers. You know what I'm saying? People are saying they've been taking cupcake fights to remain who they were, remain undefeated and keep their status. But now you got two guys that were on top of their game, supposedly going against each other, talking a lot of mess during the up until this point. There's two different styles of boxers. You got the big, showboaty guy that likes to talk a lot of mess, and then you have the social media superstar, the pretty boy that's out there, just trying to go out there and show his skills and actually show that he's a real boxer and not just a guy that punches hella fast on the speed bags and videos. You know what I'm saying? We've seen Gervonta Davis bang. We saw a fight from him really recently. But yeah, he talks a lot. So it's going to be the battle of the different type of, I don't want to say style. Well, they're definitely different style boxers, but their approach to these matches are going to be a little different as well. You'll see Gervonta and his style of shit talking, and then you have Ryan Garcia, who's a little bit more relaxed, laid back, and wants to be the good guy in the situation and not really talk that much mess, just kind of defend himself. But you see Gervonta Davis actually be an aggressor. Don't bring your kids or your girlfriend to the fight, because I'm going to knock you in your jaw, and you'll be laid out, and your parents going to see you get knocked out, boy. Type shit. And Ryan Garcia, no, you're not going to do that. I'm going to hit you in the jaw. Anywhere I hit you, you're going to fall. It's just crazy, but this fight is going to be good, man. I cannot wait to see what we're going to have here. A lot of my friends out there are getting together for the fight. This is one of those ones where you buy it, you know what I'm saying? This might be the one. We get down there and buy some stuff. Who do you guys think is going to win, man? I got Gervonta. I think Ryan Garcia is a good boxer. We'll see a good match, but I think Gervonta is a true champ. He'll come out there, just play with Ryan Garcia a lot. I think he might get knocked out, but who knows, man? Ryan Garcia has quick ass hands. He hit somebody with them body shots, hit him with a hook uppercut, hit him with a quick right. I don't know. We'll see what's gonna happen. We got to get AKA on here after the fight next week to talk about it. We got to get some people on here to talk about it because it's gonna be a good fight. It's like one of the fights of the year, I would say. But yeah, I'm not too sure. It's probably gonna come on around 8 o'clock on Saturday. Get you some drinks, get you some Best of Bias merch, and watch that with your friends, man. Have a good Saturday. But yeah, Johnathn Majors update. So Johnathn Majors, we heard about him in the recent allegations of him beating up and strangling his girlfriend over a incident in a car regarding, I feel like, a text message. I could have my facts messed up there, but that's what I'm hearing it was. It was an alleged situation where Johnathn Majors' girlfriend saw something in his phone that she didn't want him to see, or he didn't want her to see. She kind of went and flipped out and started trying to take the phone and hitting on him. And then he retaliated and hit her, or did something to her, strangled her, scratched her up, in which I think he called the police, and he was arrested because I guess in New York, that's what they do. They arrest the male in the situation of domestic violence no matter what. Supposedly, he's denying all these things. Of course, I talked a little bit about the text messages coming out saying that she was out of line and she was reacting to stuff that she shouldn't have reacted to. Again, not to try to draw the blame off him. This is just what's being put out there. And she's not pressing charges, and she's trying to redact the statements she's made and stuff like that. But in recent times, we see stuff still happening. Lawyer again putting out that text message picture, and then his management team actually splitting from him and parting ways. I guess it's too hot in the kitchen right now, and there's a couple more people that are actually kind of trying to add to the fire by coming out and saying that they're abused by Johnathn Majors as well. Man, these also were claimed to be false. There's videos coming out of the girls that he said that were supposedly her finger was broken and her neck was lacerated or something on the back. And they had pictures of her in the club with her friends partying right after the situation happened, allegedly. So I don't know what's happening right now. Johnathn Majors, it seemed like he was going to get out of his smooth, but now he has more alleged cases coming. He was dropped from that military commercial. His management team broke out with him. So I'm hoping it doesn't really affect this MCU stuff, man, because he's doing too great in that. But, I mean, I don't know. It could be a money grab. this Hollywood shit, I don't know, man. Maybe he said no to the wrong person, and this is all conspiracy stuff. I have no clue what's going on, but he has risen so fast, and they're trying to take it away so fast. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of like the Franklin Saint story. We'll get into that when we talk about the Snowfall finale. But yeah, man, it's interesting. I'm sure more stuff is going to continue to come out. I don't know how many girls are going to try to add to this case, but it seems like a smear campaign in a little bit of way. They probably heard about the settlement. I don't know, because I think he's still with the girl. I don't know, man. There's probably no settlement involved because she didn't even press charges. So maybe they're just trying to get some settlement money from or the hush money that that people are saying that his girlfriend got. Maybe that they're trying to say that these girls are trying to get hush money as well, get a quick paycheck off of stuff that they're trying to make up and just add on to the story. But I don't know. Again, Johnathn Majors, man, just keep your hands off of people if this is true. And then the second hand, if these are all lies, why do people like that, man? I don't understand. It's just kind of going to make celebrities not really trust regular people. I mean, I wouldn't trust other celebrities either because they're probably crazy as hell, but it's going to make celebrities a lot less trusting of people. I mean, maybe their judgment needs to be better. Who am I to say? Maybe Johnathn Majors is kind of crazy. I have no clue, but he was crazy in Creed 3. But who knows, man? Prayers out to both all the people involved. I don't know if it's lies. Prayers to the girls to get their mental health check for trying to make shit up. If it is true, prayers out to Johnathn Majors. Hope he gets better with his temper and the stuff that he's out there doing to people. But yeah, just a little update on that situation. Next, we got AI in the music industry. So this one's kind of weird. You guys have known about AI recently, artificial intelligence, of course. Companies have been using this technology to do a lot of things as of recent, man. I've seen a lot of things, a lot of interesting things created by AI by simply just typing something into a program. It'll create stuff for you. So say you want a picture of a penguin riding a goat on the Mojave Desert with the most beautiful jungle in the background with the sunset coming out. AI will put that together with a whole bunch of images over the internet and just create this thing that you asked it to create. Say you want to create a rap song about some spaghetti, not the Eminem song, but if you want to create another rap song about spaghetti, you just type that in, and they'll come up with rhyming raps that are about spaghetti. You want to write a story, a movie script about a dog that's walking down the street who gets on his hind legs and people see him walking on his hind legs for hours at a time. And then he actually speaks. The talking dog that walks on his hind legs. No Family Guy. But yeah, you can just tell AI to type out that script and it'll type out a movie script for you, business summaries, all this kind of stuff. But the newest thing that's taken the world by storm is it being able to adapt music artists' voices and have them rap other songs that are already famous or songs that they have created, but it makes it sound like that artist is actually rapping the song that they created. So AI, you'll have Drake rapping a Madonna song from the 1970s. It sounds just like Drake, but it's Madonna's song, word for word. I've seen Rihanna, her AI voice over a whole bunch of other songs, covering a whole bunch of other people's songs and sounding better than them singing it. You know what I'm saying? It's dangerous. I've seen more recently, we've seen Drake and Weeknd be, mimicked with AI, and it made it seem like a Drake and Weeknd song came out, but it was really somebody that created this song using AI to make it sound like Drake was rapping the words that he created, and that Weeknd was doing the second verse and just kind of going in stanzas, sounding just like Drake, sounding just like Weeknd. So it's so effective that their record companies, UMG, Capitol Records, are coming to these companies and trying to ban AI from having access to their songs because people are remaking them, putting on the internet, putting them on the internet. People are downloading it and probably listening it to those songs more than the songs that these artists that are on their payroll are putting out. You know what I mean? And they're probably using those songs just to create other songs and using these voices of these artists to, the opportunities are endless. Some people like it, some people don't. Just saying that people that are not as tech savvy, not as integrated into the industry, or don't have the same access to stuff as other people, now get to start at a high starting point, being able to do stuff like maybe possibly creating a verse and having it sound like Drake, but it's a song that you made and it's your rap song, and it sounds like you have a rap feature from Drake. It's like Never in a million years would you get a verse from Drake, but AI can create one for you so that your song becomes a hit and everybody downloads it and you can become rich potentially. And get you a Old Town Road, you know what I'm saying? Featuring Justin Bieber. You have a R&B slapper featuring Justin Bieber, featuring Tim's or something, and they know nothing about it. It's just crazy. How y'all feel about AI so far? Have you been using AI? It's just gonna be interesting as hell when it comes to mixing AI and the metaverse. It's just a lot of technology is just coming before our eyes that I never thought in a million years we would see. But it's happening. It's happening. Embrace yourself because this AI shit is going crazy. I just hope they don't take my voice from the podcast and just try to put me in places that I ain't really at or try to make me say shit that I didn't say just because I wouldn't give no company a little bit of money or something crazy. Knock on wood, because I would never want that to happen. But there's so many possibilities from this AI shit that it's just endless stuff they can do. You know what I'm saying? Just like the creation of video games, you know, it's endless. I feel like it's gonna take a whole bunch of jobs, and after a while, people that work at call centers, it's like we ain't gonna need you. We're gonna have AI programmed in to have every response that anybody ever has as a problem, and we can update this daily from a headquarters somewhere in Alaska that we ain't never have to patient face or talk to somebody at all. You know what I'm saying? Fast food. Go up there, press the button, AI can just get it all ready for you. You put your card in. There goes fast food workers. I'm not giving y'all ideas to do this shit, fast food industry, music industry, any industries. I know Amazon will probably implement this shit first. So Amazon workers, man, Tesla, actually, I think Elon Musk is actually fighting against AI right now because he sees how that can actually mess up people and mess up businesses and take down businesses based on who has the best AI programming. So, I mean, this shit goes way over my head, but I'm sure he knows exactly where the potential of this shit is going. And yeah, they have AI predicting the stock market. It's just a lot of shit going on that I think we need to nip in the bud before it gets too crazy. Speaking of crazy, we got Coachella this past weekend, right? Weekend two is probably this weekend, yeah. Big story from Coachella. Frank Ocean, headliner in day one, right? Headliner day one, maybe day three. I would say day three. He wouldn't headline day one. Day three headliner. You know how it goes at festivals. People come in at the crack of dawn just to get positioning for the headliner at 12 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? So people be sitting there all day. But supposedly they did not have a good experience at the Frank Ocean show. He came out 90 minutes late and almost didn't perform due to a lot of backstage stuff that we as listeners and Coachella goers, I didn't go to Coachella, but people that went didn't really know what's going on. He came out 90 minutes late because supposedly, all right, so months before the show, they wanted to put an ice rink out there in what is it, Palm Springs, California. They wanted to bring an ice rink on stage and have ice skaters skating around him while he performed his whole set. I guess at last minute he decided to not want to do that anymore, and they had to thaw out and dry off the stage, take the ice rink off, and have the dancers and everything, the ice skaters that practiced their routine for months and months, kind of just switch up the whole routine and just cut it because Frank Ocean didn't feel like doing that no more, which caused a 90-minute delay, and it was last minute. And then also, he didn't want them to put his performance on the live stream for some reason. So if they were going to put it on the live stream for people to watch it that weren't at Coachella, then he wasn't going to perform. And he caused a bunch of ruckus that way. And then when he did finally come out, they said that he was lip singing. He didn't do none of his good songs, and he didn't really stay up there for very long, putting a bad taste in a lot of his number one day one fans' mouth. And I don't think it was a good look for Frank Ocean. And a lot of people are talking about it online and saying that they probably are not going to go to a Frank Ocean show again, and comparing him to like Lauryn Hill and how a lot of her shows are not really enjoyable because she's always late and doesn't perform for very long, doesn't perform songs the way people want. It's just, we'll do crazy covers. Supposedly Frank Ocean was doing rock and roll versions of his songs rather than doing the regular versions of them. The people weren't happy about that either. And again, he was lip singing. So it was interesting. I mean, he has songs that people probably sing the whole versions of them anyways, but I feel like people didn't really get what they expected from the show. which is really disappointing because people pay a grip to go there and watch these shows and be amongst the celebrities that try to go there for hype. You know what I'm saying? So to not be able to see the headliner that you want to see at the festival and have him come out late and do a shitty job is just kind of crazy. Supposedly weekend two, they kicked him off as the headliner and replaced him with Blink 182. I don't think that's going to hit as hard at all. I don't think a lot of people are going to be staying to the end of day three if you put Blink 182 out there. Depending on what demographic you're trying to get, you know what I'm saying? I mean, maybe there will be a lot of people out there to see Blink 182 and ready to go back to the high school days and shit like that. But one of these days I'm gonna go to Coachella, but yeah, I hope it's not a performance like that and it cancels at the last minute when I know people were standing shoulder to shoulder to shoulder for hours and hours and hours waiting for him to come out, plus a supplemental hour and a half for him to come out. That's nuts. And I know they've probably been on so much drugs for 3 days, last day, getting ready to go home the next day. There's probably a hella faded and just over it all. And for him to do them like that, crazy. Last little pop culture here today. Speaking of Elon Musk, 420, he's taken away the blue checks for celebrities that had it, and he's starting this payment plan where he has to pay. People have to pay like $15 a month to have a blue check to pay like I don't know if it was $8 or $15, $8 to $15 to be verified and have a blue check. If they didn't want to do that, then they can, lose their blue check and just be a regular person. And a lot of people of status are not liking that. A lot of really rich people, which is kind of crazy to me, that use Twitter a lot and I'm sure enjoy their status on Twitter, are saying they're not going to pay the $15 a month to have the blue check. LeBron James being one of those people who got all the money in the world is like, nah, if I got to pay for it, I'm not going to use Twitter. And Elon Musk was like, no, I'll pay your fee. You can have your blue check for free, but I'll pay for a couple more people too. But a lot of these celebrities that had their status, a lot of these influencers that had their status based on just them being celebrities and having a lot of followers. Now it's gonna be over. You got to pay for that thing if you want it. Anybody can be a celebrity and have a blue check now as long as you're willing to pay for it. Some people, I don't know, can have that. Can be beneficial for some people. Give them more clout than that originally had, and make them look like something, you know what I'm saying, can benefit their businesses and stuff like that. If they had a blue check, maybe paying that $15 is kind of beneficial. But these celebrities are like, nah, this is how you stay rich. You don't pay for $15 a month. Okay, brother. It's funny how they won't do that, but I'm sure Twitter brings them a lot of money as far as looking at shit that they say, bringing attention to themselves through Twitter. I don't know. It's really easy to trick people and have fake accounts on people if they don't have a blue check. So it's gonna be, and it's probably still easy to do that too with people being able to buy blue checks willy-nilly. So it's gonna be a confusing time on Twitter. We're not gonna know who's real and who's not. But LeBron James is keeping his blue check apparently since Elon Musk is willing to pay for it. Would you pay for a blue check? Would you pay for the status to be like, oh, I'm verified? I don't know, man. I probably think about it. No, I definitely don't use Twitter enough to actually think about paying for that. But maybe I do need to utilize it a little bit more. Sorry, I'm scratching my nose so much. My nose is itchy. It's covering my beautiful face, though. You know what I'm saying? I need to be doing that. But sorry if it's bugging y'all. I don't know why I keep doing it. But yeah, Elon Musk, man, making people pay for the check. That boy trying to stay rich. You feel me? Cinema Corner though. Cinema Corner. We had a couple of shows to talk about. We had a couple of finales come out. You guys like how there's no breaks? I'm just going topic to topic on y'all. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm just trying to get through this. The game is getting pretty good. It's about to be halftime, and I give myself kind of like thresholds to try to finish these and get them out to you because I don't want y'all to think I'm just sitting here rambling. And I'm gonna try to get timestamps in here as well so you guys know what topics I'm talking about. So if you guys don't want to sit and listen to me ramble through the whole things, you can just look through there and find the timestamps and see what I was talking about when I was talking about it. I'm gonna get it together for y'all, man. I'm trying to, I'm always trying to elevate for y'all. But yeah, let's get into the Cinema Corner. SnowFall finale, let's start there. Man, this finale is something I did. Spoiler alert, both of these shows. I'm gonna talk about them briefly, the finale. So I hope you guys, if you guys aren't ready to hear about this stuff, you haven't watched it yet, I suggest you turn off the podcast now. Where my theme song at, you know where to find me, blah, 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 blah. You know all the stuff that I say then, and we'll check you guys out next time. But if you guys do want to review the show with me, talk about some stuff that we saw, talk about how y'all feel about the ending. People are saying they didn't like the ending, but we'll get into it right here real quick. Let's get into it. So this episode, coming off the last episode when Moms popped Teddy, we saw Franklin kind of break. Oh man. And we just saw the downfall of Franklin in this last episode. Um, from we kind of saw him turn into Teddy a little bit. Everything was about money. We saw him go try to find ways to, keep his status, keep his properties, and it's just like money just became his main motivator, which was the reason why his mom made the decision to do what she did anyways, to not get him the money, just because it's just money is just all he wanted. It just made him become more and more evil. It made him break and go more and more psycho. Um, yeah, it was just interesting to me, man, because mom's thoughts and why she did what she did are really interesting to me. She's trying to call out the CIA and just bring attention to how they brought drugs into the country to kind of try to fund a secret war, but yet nobody's gonna believe that shit. They're gonna shut her down and just say she killed somebody and throw her in jail. Franklin is he doesn't really care about his mom's situation. He's more so worried about why she shot Teddy, why she didn't want him to have the money, why she did what she did. But frankly, doesn't see that he's a broken man that only sees money. He didn't care about his dad, was willing to have him killed. Didn't care about his mom, willing to have her put in jail and sign over the crib to him, just to make some money, and didn't give a fuck. Well, those are his words. Excuse my language about her when it came to getting the money from Teddy. A lot of stuff. We saw him in the episode go to his wife and put his hands around her throat because she was seeking offers on a property that they owned that was going to get foreclosed if they didn't come up with the money. She was looking to sell shares in this business so they can have some money to actually keep some of their properties. Franklin thought she was going behind her back to try to steal his money, almost strangled his baby mama, like before she had her baby. It's nuts. Another breaking point. He goes to Leon and his best friend to ask for money. And Leon is kind of on his mom's side as to where she's like, I can't really give you this money that you're asking for because I understand why your mom did what she did. She saw what the money has done to you. I don't want to, contribute to it and send you down a deeper hole when your mom did what she did to keep you safe and keep you from spiraling out and getting, going even crazier. And we saw Franklin pull a gun on his best friend Leon in that situation. So the money was really eroding his brain. He lost all his morals. He's not the sharp kind of guy he was at the beginning of the series. He's now just a guy who wants money and do anything to get it. Kill, do anything. We saw him when his PI couldn't find his wife. They found Peaches and where he was staying, and Peaches was his man for a while. I mean, he did steal money and just dip out, but the way he killed Peaches, I mean, Peaches did shoot at him. It's just the whole he shot him and then he knew there was a safe there and regretted shooting him just because he didn't tell him to coach to the safe first. And then he got the guy to open the safe. And then the crackhead walks in, he kills him for seeing him. Then he cracks the safe and there's only $12,000 in there when he thinks Peaches stole 3 million. He had 3 million stashed in the safe. Then he promised to, what's his name? I forgot his name. Young Flores, that he would let him go home with the $12,000 in his pocket, and he just shot him in the back. I'm like, man, man, oh man, oh man. Franklin has really gone down that hole. And then we saw him start to drink a lot. We saw him start to become really desperate, asking the bank for loans, and then goes to the bank to try to, get some money out, sell some, get an extension, get some money out of his bank to after selling some properties to go do something and try to get his money back up. But his wife took $800,000 away from him and fled. This is getting really bad. At one point, I felt bad for Franklin, but at the same time, it's like some decisions you made along the way, and once you cross that line, you kind of ask for this to happen. And seeing where he ended up at the end, him just ended up being a crackhead and just kind of losing everything, losing his house, just seeing him as a wino and just seeing his transformation from being a kingpin to just becoming what he was, turning everybody into in the hood from what he was selling, man. And it's just crazy. I mean, especially it's just like, the story of a drug dealer, man. You can be up here and at any point they can snatch it away from you. You can either be in jail or you can have all your money gone. And we saw the worst side of that in this finale, man. We saw him go from being a kingpin to being somebody who got all his money taken by a CIA agent, to his mom betraying him, to him just being so low and in need for money and letting the money take him over so much that he became a crackhead. It was nuts. Just the last scene, seeing him and Leon walking around and seeing him as a crackhead and just seeing the acting. Damson Idris did great job in this episode. Just the transformation from season 1 to season 6 has been a great ride. He did a great job. But man, a lot of people saying they didn't like the finale because hey man, it wasn't glitz and glam and didn't end like everybody wanted to, where he just walked off into the sunset with a bunch of money, or him and his wife just got together and just went off with a little bit of money they had. Nah, he didn't have no money, he didn't have nothing. His house got evicted. He didn't have a relationship with his mom. She was in jail forever. His wife ran out on him, had the baby. He's not able to see his son. It was just a lot. It was real. It was real, man. There ain't no love, especially messing you in the drug game and you messing with the CIA. So I just feel like there's just going to be a negative outcome either way it went. It's just like I don't know how he really expected to get out that game clean. Even if Teddy got him that $37 million, I feel like either Teddy would be looking for him for the rest of his life for torturing him like that, or the CIA would find him and do something to him for knowing what he knows. So now having him as a crackhead out there in the streets, the CIA probably keep tabs on him, but they don't care about him no more because he's not a threat to him, because he's just out there on the streets as a crackhead and nobody's gonna believe anything he says. And that's why he said, the chains is off me now. I'm free. Um, when I'm like this, he saw the blood in the little blood red eye. He's like, when I'm like this, like nobody follows me around. CIA don't bother me no more. You know what I mean? It just sucks, man. I just never thought he would get out clean, especially after the last episode. I'm still surprised how Teddy was shot in the broad daylight with a whole bunch of people there and nobody, arrested him anyways from being involved. I don't know. Interesting, man. I really liked the season. It was a really good season. The ending to me wasn't bad at all. I like to see at the ending actually. It makes you think, put stuff into perspective, and like seeing the real guy, and you can really I can see that he may have really gone through that. You know what I'm saying? He lost his money and he's not at the top of the game anymore, not a baller anymore, but he can tell a story, and him and John Singleton did a great job, RIP John Singleton, of telling that story. And I really liked the finale. I suggest everybody go watch it, season 1 to season 6, if you haven't seen it. If you watched it and stopped watching after a certain point, go ahead and watch it again to get to the point and get to the end, because it was a great series and I do recommend it. 10 out of 10. Next, we had The Mandalorian. This finale was interesting as well. Last episode before this, we saw Moff Gideon and those crazy ass dark troopers with the Vascar armor out there, messing up the Mandalorian reunion. All the factions of the Mandalorians kind of like decided to join together and go back to their planet of Mandalore. But we saw Moff Gideon on there, who had crazy ass intentions, creating dark troopers, using the Vascar armor that they found there at Mandalore, was able to make there in Mandalore to just trap the Mandalorians and just kind of take them out. They captured Din Djarin, the Mando. At the end of the episode, we saw Paz Vizsla get killed in the last episode, kind of trying to help Bo-Katan and them escape. But this episode, the finale, we were able to see a little bit more. We got to see the final battle. We got to see the plan that the Mandalorians had to fight Moff Gideon and kind of get Mandalore back. It was a really good episode. We saw a lot of stuff happen. We saw Mandalorian go John Wick on him out there. Him and R5. You know what I'm saying? We're able to take out a whole bunch of the dark troopers. We saw, what were those things called? The Praetorian Guard, those red dudes with the laser things come out there and try to fight. It was interesting to see the Mandalorians fight those dark troopers because, shoot, you can't shoot the armor. You got to hit them in their weak spots to actually kill them. So we saw a whole bunch of hand-to-hand action. We saw people getting shot, but getting shot in the armpit, getting shot in the neck area, in the bottom of the leg, getting electrocuted, because they had to, it was a whole bunch of Vascar armor, and it was just kind of weird. It's like ping, ping. It sounded like robots were fighting the whole time. But of course, the Mandalorians were able to, get the upper hand because their religion is basically fighting in war and stuff like that. So, of course, they had the strategy, but it wasn't without um really, 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 really hard fighting. Moff Gideon, we saw that he was trying to make clones of himself, and do something with those. I mean, shoot, some people said that they were trying to create clones and try to get them to learn the Force and a whole bunch of stuff like that. Who knows what he was actually trying to do? We didn't really get to see that, but we did see that scientist who was an expert in cloning, and then we saw that girl betray him and take all his thoughts and stuff. So maybe he passed that she passed that to Moff Gideon, and he was able to figure out how to clone himself. But it was ruined by Mando when he opened all the tanks and they died, or did they die? Who knows? Because Moff Gideon got burned when the big ass destroyer fell in the hole and burned him alive. But who knows? Maybe one of those clones is still alive. We get to see Grogu use the Force to protect Bo-Katan and Din Djarin when the Challenger did come in there and blow up, so they didn't get burned alive. We did see the dark saber get destroyed, so it's gonna be interesting to see what they do now with that destroyed. If they're gonna still honor her being the leader of the Mandalorians, though the dark saber did get destroyed. We got to see the armorer fight. I like seeing her fight with her hammer. It's pretty interesting. She don't ever put the hammer down like Thor. You feel me? But yeah, there was some theories out there. We saw how you know Moff Gideon had the horns on his helmet, kind of looked like Darth Maul, and the armor actually had horns on her helmet as well. There was a faction of Mandalorians and people that followed Darth Maul in the Rebels cartoon, and they said that they all really had they had horns on their top of their helmets and stuff to show that they're following Darth Maul. So people are theorizing that the armorer may have followed Darth Maul in the past, and maybe she's working with Moff Gideon secretly. But I don't know. I hope that's not true because I do like the armorer, a lot that she stands for. I mean, she was really important in bringing in Bo-Katan, bringing in Din Djarin, and getting them back to their Mandalorian glory. You know what I'm saying? They both bathed in the waters of Mandalore and were able to redeem themselves. Of course, Bo-Katan didn't believe nothing about the Mandalorians because they were at war against each other, and her family was actually wiped out, and she didn't really have, the royal standings that she used to have, so she didn't really care about the Mandalorian culture or anything like that. But now she does. Din Djarin is kind of like helping her reclaim her status as a leader. So they've been really partnered up the whole time. So it's been good development. We still don't really see much from Grogu, which I'm interested to see because, of course, that man is going to be the next Tar Vizsla because he's a Jedi and he's going to be a Mandalorian. So we'll see what happens. I know Paz Vizsla's son is still going to be in the show, probably grow up to be somebody important too, because they showed him a lot in the series, though his dad did pass away. What else happened in this episode that was pretty tight? Again, just the scene where he was opening up the red shields and taking them out one by one because he knew he couldn't fight them all at the same time. But it's like all the moves that he was doing, you know what I'm saying, knock him out to get him in the open spots before he went on to the next people. And then he had to fight the Praetorian Guard. It was dope. Then the scene where they almost got Grogu, but he was like, they're like, go get your son. And he went in there and did his thing. And I like the end a lot too, where Din Djarin officially adopted Grogu, so he was actually able to become a Mandalorian because he couldn't become a Mandalorian without the permission from his parents, and nobody knew where his parents were. So he's like, if I adopt you, I can give permission. You can really become that Mandalorian. You can become my foundling, and we can go teach you the ways, do our adventures, and do a whole bunch of stuff that we already been doing. So towards the end of the episode, they gave him a condo at the outskirts of Navarro where him and Grogu were posted up, where they're probably gonna teach Grogu how to be a Mandalorian, and he's probably gonna get bigger. Hopefully, he gets older and they show him again because they're supposed to be doing a movie with Rey from the last, what was it, the Last Jedi or something like that. You guys remember Rey if you watch Star Wars. It's supposed to be her 15 years later, so maybe we'll see an older Grogu in there as well. What else happened in The Mandalorian? Shoot, it just seems like a lot, episodes 7 and 8 kind of melded together because the battle kind of started in 7 and it just kind of ended in 8. But we did see again the Mandalorians win. Moff Gideon is presumed dead, but they do have that Dark Council still sitting out there who may, know of the clone. They may have a clone that survived again, like I said, and we haven't seen the end of that little dark society that's out there trying to take down the New Republic. And then we did see Din Djarin Mando join the New Republic as a bounty hunter for hire, exclusively for them. So if they get into some trouble, he'll help out him and Grogu. But you know what I'm saying? It was a good ending. Nobody died, which was good. We thought we were gonna lose a lot of people. I thought we were. I thought one of them was gonna die, Bo-Katan, Din Djarin, somebody. But luckily, everybody survived. It was a good show, and we had another great season, I thought. Um, but yeah, Mario. I haven't seen Mario at all yet, but everybody has been liking it. The nostalgia is crazy. I'm a Nintendo guy. I got to switch. I'll be playing all the Mario games. I definitely need to go out there and see the movie. May see it on Saturday myself. But the success is what's kind of crazy. The last report I heard, it made $700 million in the first week. This might be week 2 or 3 now, so I can only imagine how much money it's gonna make. I'm sure the budget wasn't hella. This movie might pass $2 billion when it's all said and done. And that's pretty crazy, man. They just added Mario Land, Nintendo Land to Universal Studios. So there is a big market for Mario. And the nostalgia alone is going to bring a whole bunch of people out, especially for people like in Japan that love Mario and Nintendo as well. I think it's a cool thing to have. They need to make some Mario Funko Pops though, because those will hit too. Because the voice actor's going to a festival that I'm going to in a little bit and get that pop signed. But yeah, I'm trying to see the Mario movie. So who's trying to go? Who's seen it? Let me know how it is, man. So I can give you guys a good review. Maybe I'll go see it this weekend and give you guys a review on how I liked it last week. Shoot, I can play some Mario games so I can know all the characters I'm expected to see. Hopefully they just keep it base. I know the voice actors in the movie. I went over that a little bit when I talked about the trailer. But man, I didn't dual cameras y'all today, but I'll get y'all some other time. But yeah, this is the end of the podcast. I ain't really got no more topics. Quick, short and sweet this time. It's your boy. You know where to find me at SAC_Lydell on Instagram, Patrick_Lydell on the Snapchat. If you're looking for anything best to bias, just type it in. You'll find Growly right there smiling at you with his cool ass glasses. If you go to YouTube, Best of Bias, you'll see us there. not 160 videos. We're up in the hundreds though. AKA has been doing his thing, chopping up clips, chopping up videos for y'all. So if y'all ain't listening audio, wherever you can find your favorite podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Anchor, and of course YouTube. If you're not listening on audio wise on all those things and you want to watch visually every week on YouTube, we got videos every week. Again, I'm trying to put some timestamps in here so you guys don't have to listen even though I would love for you guys to listen to the whole thing. I don't want you guys to skip around at all, but if you do and you see topics in the timestamps down there that you specifically want to hear about, we're going to actually add that so you guys can jump there on top of us doing clips of those parts of the episode as well. Just keep growing, keep elevating. You know what I'm saying? I'm hearing the suggestions out there and I listen to the people. If you want to be on the podcast, hit me up. You know what I'm saying? There's always room for guests. I was on a main streak of having guests on here, but it's back to me for a little bit. But I will have guests on really, really soon. Your favorite guests. I have the Chelseas of the world, the Damos, the Johnny Macs, the V-Rons, the Ashwashes, everybody's going to be back. It's just, I got to ask them and finding time. Sometimes it's hard, but of course, I'm never going to leave y'all unless I tell you guys first without an episode for y'all to, jam out to. So, expect guests, expect new things, especially new merch, because I do have new merch coming real soon. I just got the whole new set of hats in. You guys already, I'm smashing mine right now. You guys already know about the dad hats, trucker hats, beanies, bucket hats, and the t-shirt that I have, but we're going to add a little bit more. We're upgrading and add more stuff to the hats. You guys will see real soon. I'll show you guys once they get made, and they will be for sale soon. For now, if you need any of the merch that we have, hit me up on the Instagram, hit me up on YouTube, hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on Snapchat. Anywhere you find the Best of Bias podcast, anywhere you find Lydell Dinero, I can get that merch to you. You know what I'm saying? So don't be scared. But for now, I got to catch the end of this Warriors game. That's the end of the podcast. Hope you guys have a good Friday. 420 today, so I'm gonna go ahead and indulge for the rest of this 420. But it's Friday to you guys, so happy Friday. Go out there, have some fun this weekend. You made it through the week. I'm proud of y'all. New listeners, welcome. Come back next week because it's bigger and better every week. And old listeners, family, you already know what it is. Another episode in the books. It's your boy Lydell Dinero, and where that theme song at? Yeah, go Nuggets, baby. Yeah.
It's the best of bias. You need the earful. You should try us. From pop culture to the
movies to unite us. It's the best of bias. Best of bias. Yeah.